In our previous tutorial, we created the setup to enable us to discover if they'd been an overall winner based upon the results, or the final results, from each of the snakes. As I said I would do, I've color-coded our checks here. I said I would do that just to make life easier for ourselves, so that's now done. Moving on from here, we need to create the setup to tell us if all 5 snakes have tied. So if there's an absolute slither scenario. That's our objective here. First thing we need, yet again, are compare nodes. We need 4 of these. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to go down into their title bar, and their functions need to be equal to, so I'll just put that there in brackets. Just leave the function as it is because that's already set up. Next task is to copy them. So I've got 2 there, select those, copy them down. And I'm leaving a fair amount of space between them because I'm going to put some remarks in there to remind us of who we're comparing to who. Because ultimately we need 10 of these compares, but I'm only going to do the first 4 for this particular tutorial just to keep things simple. So I'm going to grab not a result, I don't need a result, I've got one of those, I need remarks. I need 4 remarks. So I'll put my first in there, drag my second down, my third, and my fourth in there. Come over to their colours for a start, and I'm going to make these just lime green so they're not exactly the same shade as Sid's. And then I'm going to put in here dead slither, and it will be SN for Sid and Nancy. So that's my first remark done there. Actually, what I'll do, I'll delete all of these and just copy the others across. Let's get rid of that. I'll just do that. All I've then got to do is go into there and say Sid Bonnie. Copy this one down. Sid Clyde. Copy this one down. And Sid Dave. So that's my compares set up as need be and labelled up so that we know exactly who we're comparing to who. Next job is to wire this up. So as before, Sid will be wired up into the input 1s of each of these compares. Let's just get that done there. Oops, I'm comparing Sid to himself. That's an easy mistake to make. Get those in there, and then the remaining snakes just get plumbed into the input 2s as before. Clyde in there, and finally Dave in the bottom there. So that completes the wiring, and it's actually a very simple setup, this one. It's very easy. What I'll do, I'm just going to plug that back in there. Get this result in position. It's not needed quite yet. The last thing we need to do before we can complete the scenario is to get another bool. We don't need to alter the function because it's already an and that's what it needs to be. Give it a couple more inputs and make it a bit larger. And then it's a simple case of plugging these outputs into the inputs of the bool. So what are we doing here? We're getting the final scores and passing these through the conditions. We're comparing all of the snake's scores. So we're saying if all 5 are equal, and we're passing these over to the bool to decide if they're all equal, and if they are, then the bool will return a true output. So we'll just plug this in here. Now at the moment, obviously we're not going to get that because we still have this constant plugged into Dave here. So we've got 4 scores of 0 and 1, which is 1. So therefore, obviously, the output's going to be false here because we haven't got 5 scores level. However, if we unplug this, we do get a 1 because now all the scores are 0 at the moment. Therefore, they are all equal. So we get a 1 there. And this will be a trigger to trigger our Absolute Slither banner that will leap up out of the scoreboard when we get to that point later on. That's exactly what this is going to be used for, as with the winning scenarios checksum over here. So that's the first couple of setups put together. And it brings us to the end of this tutorial. It's a short and sweet one, this one, because this was a very simple setup to do. Following on from here, we're going to develop our next scenario, which is to check to see if there's been a 4-way tie or 4-way dead slither between any combination of 4 snakes. That's the next part of this project that we're going to be looking at. That being the case, I'll see you in tutorial number 13 very shortly.